All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Movie Battleground. I am your host / judge today, Andrew the Dude Hayes, and today we got a big fight, one that I'm personally really looking forward to. We got Linus Babcock versus Isaac Horvat. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. This is going to be a fun match. I didn't have to go full 100% while fighting Max. Isaac's going to be tough, and I'm going to have to bring my A game today, and I plan on it.
Yep,
Right,
feel the same. I feel the same. It's going to be a good match. I'm ready. Spent the last couple of days watching some movies, taking a lot of notes. So I'm ready to go.
All right, yeah, no, this one's going to be a big one, considering you both are undefeated at the moment and both have a knockout. Anyway, let's get started with our very first question. What is the most awkward movie scene ever? Let's start with Linus.
We're starting with this one. Right, yeah. We're starting with this one. Okay. So when defining this scene, I had a lot of factors in my mind, and there's a lot of things where it's like cringe, and then there's an ounce of reality. And my scene I chose is from the film Superbad, where Seth and Evan, I'll give you a little background for right now. Seth gets hit by this guy's car, and he ends up taking them to this party. And when they're at this party, they're underage, and Seth, who is played, never mind, sorry. Seth is there at the party, and he's dancing around, and some lady comes up to him, and she's drunk as well. He's underage, and he's at this party, and this lady starts dancing on him, and he's like, yeah, I got this lady on me, she's dancing, all this thing's going on. And then later on, he finds out that she has a boyfriend at the party. And not only that, is that she was on her period, and her blood gets all over his clothes. And Seth is getting mocked by these guys because he has some drunk woman that he's not supposed to be at a party with, her blood all over his pants. Also that he has a boyfriend. So that for me, in many ways, as an ounce of like, what the fuck would you do if that happened to you? That is just fun to think about, and that situation is one I would never want to be in. All those factors combined, and it's Jonah Hill played in my blank for just a second, and that is my choice for the awkward scene.
All right, solid choice. Isaac, what is your choice?
All right, that is a good choice. I, like you, had to determine a couple different factors when I was choosing my most awkward movie scene ever, and I went with one that I think is pretty undisputed as one of the most shocking and infamous scenes ever, and I'm talking about the Last Tango in Paris anal butter rape scene. And need I say more than that? It's awkward for many reasons, not least of which that it's just depicting anal butter rape. And by what I mean with that, I keep saying it, he uses butter as lubricant and anally rapes this girl. Let's fight.
All right.
No,
good.
That's not awkward.
All right. So, both solid choices. You got 6 minutes to duke it out. All right. Starting now.
Okay, the Superbad thing is not awkward. It's hilarious. I mean, the characters in it might be awkward, but like the scene itself isn't that awkward. And like Seth isn't even awkward about it. He's just disgusted by it. My scene is awkward for a number of levels, but I'll let you go for a second.
It's awkward in many ways, in my opinion, because like it's some there's different levels of awkward. Like you're saying, there's that which is like like you don't even want to think about that. That is awkward. That is a lot more cringe to me. And when you're talking about awkward cringe scenes, there's like a fine line disputing them. And a lot of times when I think of a film scene as awkward or like really makes me uncomfortable, I'm like, oh, what if that happened? You know, I don't see that happening to me at all. That, you know, it's very uncomfortable to watch. I'll give you that. It is uncomfortable. the situation, is it awkward? Like, it's uncomfortable, but awkward?
Well, awkward, the definition of awkward, one of the ones that I looked up, is uncomfortable. It makes you feel uncomfortable or embarrassed. The reason that it's so uncomfortable and awkward is the subtext behind it. In 2013, the actress who was 19 years old at the time came out and said, quote, "During the scene, even though what Marlon was doing wasn't real, I was crying real tears. I felt humiliated, and to be honest, I felt a little raped myself, both by Marlon and by the director, Bertolucci." The reason she felt that way is because they didn't tell her until the day it was filming that they were going to be portraying anal rape, and they didn't tell her they would use butter until it happened. She was completely surprised by that because this director, in his mind, wanted an honest reaction, and it's horrifying. The reason that it's so awkward is with that knowledge, you can't watch that scene and even appreciate it as art. It's a crime. It's actually rape happening on screen, and that's why it's even more awkward than an absurd and gross moment in another movie. But it's not awkward. It's funny. It's hilarious. I laugh at that dancing scene in Superbad every time.
Definitely, we have two different interpretations of what awkward means. Yours, just hearing about it, it kind of scares me, per se. And this is going to be a tough argument to judge because we both have separate arguments about what awkward means. For me, it's awkward in that situation is because if I imagine myself there, I wouldn't be there. I'd probably chicken out and not go to a party like that. But just imagine all those circumstances together. There's older men making fun of you that you want to fit in with. You thought you had this girl with you, and then she's just trying to drunk make her boyfriend jealous, and you realize you did something gross on her that's just going to piss off her boyfriend, which was the plan. That is awkward in many ways after all those circumstances. If you're there, that guy's mad at you, he's trying to hurt you, you have to run away from that. That is awkward. That is just, it's uncomfortable. It is awkward, and it doesn't scare me per se. I can watch it with my eyes open, and yeah.
Exactly. See, you can watch it. You're watching it because it's funny, because it's absurd. There's real life elements, like you said, about trying to fit in with a group and having a party and being drunk and all that. Those are real elements. The situation itself is absurd and over the top, and you can watch it because of that. The reason that my scene is more awkward is because it's so realistic and you want to look away. That is what awkward is. It's being so uncomfortable with what's happening that you don't even want to see it. The actress afterward, her career became so damaged, she struggled with depression, became a drug addict, and tried to kill herself several times. The actor, or the director, I'm sorry, in his country went to court. They sued him, took away his civil rights for 5 years because of how awful this scene was. It's a terrible scene, and you cannot watch it and not be affected by it. Superbad, you can watch that scene and say, "Man, I wish I'm happy I never been in that situation. I hope I ever am. I never am. That's ridiculous. That's terrible." But it's not so awkward that you wouldn't sit down and watch it. Like, Superbad is a very rewatchable movie. Last Tango in Paris, you will never want to rewatch that movie. You will never want to watch it the first time.
Like I said, it seems scary to me. That seems like it's horrifying. An awkward movie scene is more socially awkward, like I'm saying, like that. That is horror right there. That is a horror movie scene. Most scariest horror scene, I'll give that to you with the impact right there. Based on awkward, socially awkward aspects like that of characters interacting and they feel uncomfortable in this situation, sure, you can argue that in your movie, but to me, that's more scary aspects, and that's something that it doesn't seem enjoyable to watch. And why would anyone make that? Why would you make that? That makes no sense. He should be in trouble for that. I give it to you. That should not have been made. Mine should have been made. It's funny and it's awkward. That's why it is the best. Yours is a horrible, awkward scene. That is horrible. It's not the best.
And the question wasn't what the best awkward scene. It was what the most awkward scene is. And the most awkward is something that's so awkward you don't want to see it again. It's beyond awkward. I agree with you there. It's beyond awkward, but it is at the max level of awkward you can get. I do think we're arguing two different things. You're arguing your scene depicts awkwardness better than my scene. Maybe. but I'm saying what scene is awkward? Awkward to watch? Awkward when I'm watching Superbad, I'm saying these characters are awkward and they're in awkward situations. I don't feel awkward watching this. Last Tango in Paris, different story.
All right, time's up. Both give you time to state your closing statements. So, Linus, you could start us off with the closing statements.
All right. For my closing statement, I just want to bring up a point about... I want to bring up a point that socially awkward is an aspect that I can relate to myself. I relate to that with Seth when he's at that party, when Evan, when he's at their party. There's many aspects that make you feel awkward that add reality to it. If I'm watching that scene, which I don't want to watch, I've never seen, I don't plan on watching it, I'm not worried that that's something that's actually going to happen to you. When you see those movie scenes that are awkward and they make you cringe, they cringe for reasons like, oh, I could totally see that happening. Oh, people do that. Like, that's something you could actually believe happening. And you see that in society, and that's a possibility. With that, that's a crime. That is horrible. You see that guy, he went to court or whatever, that lady, her life was messed up for that. That is awkward. And say, like, why would you make that? I don't get what the point of, that's ruining film if you're putting crimes, if you're ruining people's life. Superbad is a fun movie. It has depicted a fun aspect of being socially awkward in that scene. And the awkwardness, it's fun. I'm not going to argue that yours is not bad or yours is not awkward, because it obviously is. I'm arguing the fun in my scene is awkward, and you're like, hey, that could happen, but it also makes you be like, oh. So that is my argument.
Okay, and Isaac.
Okay. Yes, that is awkward. And like I said before, the absurdity of it is what makes it funny. What makes it watchable. The question isn't what's the most fun awkward. Awkwardness isn't fun. It's what is the period most awkward movie scene ever. My movie scene is just objectively more awkward. It's awkward to watch. It's awkward to even know exists. And as far as real depictions of awkwardness, yeah, real things like rape happen. And that's why it is so awkward. You feel uncomfortable watching it. You feel uncomfortable even knowing about it. Getting drunk at a party and having a girl dance on you and getting her period blood on you, that's awkward, but it's so absurd and it's so out there to reality. It's awkward for the characters in that situation, but you know that is so unlikely to happen to you that you can laugh at it, and it is whatever. It's not awkward, it's funny.
Okay. The one fact, I guess you could say, that I have is I did look up the definition of awkward, and it is causing difficulty, hard to do or deal with. Not that that has any sway in what my decision is, but just figure I say that. But anyway, both of you gave really good arguments. But there is one point that was said towards the end that kind of swayed me a little bit, and it's when Isaac said, it's so awkward that I don't want to see it. And how yours, you laugh, and how with the Superbad one, you laugh at it, you have a good time, you can watch it. So because of that, I'm giving the point to Isaac.
All right.
Good round.
But yeah, good argument.
I can't argue that, but you know, it's hard. We're debating two different things. So.
Yeah, it was very two completely different things. All right. Anyway, I'm assuming because of Honor of Blade Runner, the next question is, what is the best Harrison Ford movie? We will start with Isaac this time.
Okay, best Harrison Ford movie. Looking forward to this question. I picked the movie that he got his only Oscar nomination for. It had a total of 8 nominations, 2 wins, 1 for Best Original Screenplay. It was nominated for Best Picture, and it is the best movie in Harrison Ford's career, and that is Witness.
Okay, and Linus?
I'm choosing a movie that Harrison Ford was on the map, but this put him as the map as a star, and it gave him charisma, and it gave him this leading man role that we knew he could be, and it made us all fall in love with him even more so, and that is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Nice. Both really good choices. And you guys got 5 minutes starting now.
What Harrison Ford does in Raiders of the Lost Ark is create such a powerful character that the only one actor that could have possibly taken it over, not counting that dumb children's series, was River Phoenix, and he's dead. So Harrison Ford is synonymous with that role. They tried. There's been rumors about Chris Pratt taking over that role, but Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark makes the film. You see in the first opening scene that he has this action charisma, and then he comes back and he's this smooth and suave teacher that all these ladies swine after. But he also plays these two great levels, and the film is fantastic. It's action like we haven't seen before. It's a different environment than most people haven't seen before. It's the definition of a fantastic adventure film.
Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark is a great movie. It's a fun movie. I enjoy watching it. It's a fun popcorn movie. Problem I have with it, it's not complex. It's pretty straightforward. There's no complex characters. Harrison Ford's character is great and charismatic and all of that, but he has no character development, no layers to him. It's a straight-up action movie. It's a straight-up action-adventure movie, and I'm fine with that. That is a good movie, and it's one of the best action-adventure movies of all time. Witness is something deeper than that. It's got complex characters who are adults, make adults decisions, that they're in realistic, a realism situation type of thing, where their actions have real consequences. It's a love story, it's a thriller, and it's much more deep and interesting than a fun action movie. I think that's what makes it a better movie.
There's also an aspect of Raiders of the Lost Ark is still talked about phenomenally today. Indiana Jones is an icon. Witness, it had the Oscar nominations. It was popular in its time. I don't really hear much Witness talk these days. Not saying that it's not a great film, not saying that it doesn't hold up, but Raiders of the Lost Ark is multi-generational. You see, my parents, they watched Raiders of the Lost Ark. They introduced it to me. It still holds up to me, and it's phenomenal. I'm still interested into it. I bet my children, they could be interested in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And there's aspects like the villain. It's a cheesy German guy, yeah, but it's fun. Not every movie needs to have complexity to be great. I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is great because it's simple. It's not that complicated. He goes on an adventure, and that's phenomenal. And this film pulls it off greatly.
You're right, not every movie does have to be fun to be great, but we're talking about the best Harrison Ford movie of all time. And I'd rather go with a movie that has themes and ideas that it deconstructs and studies. I'd rather have that. I think that is a better movie than a movie where the biggest message is Nazis are bad. That's obvious. As for the character who could only be played by Harrison Ford, the original actor was supposed to be Tom Selleck, and I actually really wish that we could have had somehow a version to see Tom Selleck play Indiana Jones, because I think that would be good. As for Raiders, like I said, it's a good movie. It's a great Indiana Jones movie. I myself and a lot of other fans agree that Last Crusade is actually the better Indiana Jones movie. So I don't even think you chose the best Raiders movie, let alone the best Harrison Ford movie.
When you talk about Harrison Ford movies, people don't bring up Witness. I barely ever hear any talk about Witness. He didn't win the Oscar for Witness. He was nominated, sure, but it doesn't hold up in his career as a fashion point, because Indiana Jones is still relevant. Yes, Last Crusade is a phenomenal film, but I think some aspects like the relationship with his father is great. I don't think the whole film holds up together as a story as well as Raiders of the Lost Ark it does. And the love interest in Last Crusade is just, it's kind of bland in my opinion. Raiders does that a lot better. Raiders has relationships. It has not complex, but it has relationships. People care each other. Marion Ravenwood and Indiana Jones have that great relationship when you see them in the bar when they first meet in the film. Not first meet, when you first see them meet in the film, and you see that they are together. And there's so many small aspects. It's quotable. It's still relevant. Witness I'm sure it's great. I don't see it has any of the impact as Raiders does.
Maybe not.
All right. And that's time. So give your closing statements now, starting with Isaac.
Okay. What you're confusing is what's popular with what's good. Just because Raiders is more popular doesn't mean it's better. It just means more people know about it. Witness is still a better movie, even though less people know about it. As for relevancy, I don't know when Indiana Jones was ever relevant to the culture around it. The themes of violence versus nonviolence and the cultures of violence versus nonviolence that Witness goes into, that is still relevant. At the end of the movie, it undermines and deconstructs what typical action thrillers do, where there's a final shootout and you think he's about to kill the big bad, who he said he would kill because he killed his partner. And because of his experience in the Amish community and the uniting of that community coming out against that guy, he's shown a better path. That's one of the main themes of this movie, is there are other ways to do things. That is still absolutely relevant, especially in the culture we're living in today. As for holding up, I think those themes hold up much more than the effects of the Raiders of the Lost Ark. They were groundbreaking for the day, but now you watch it and it's cheesy. It's cheesy. I'm sorry. I will say it. Best Harrison Ford movie, Witness, hands down.
All right, and Linus.
In Raiders of the Lost Ark, you see an archaeologist's dream of finding this ark, and he does it. It gives hope. That is a theme. Maybe the themes of Nazis or archaeology doesn't hold up today, but the adventure and the fun is definitely something that we need in this culture. And when the last one, it didn't work out, people were so upset because the original was so fun and perfect in that aspect of it. Harrison Ford would not have had the Witness role, or would have not been that actor, if it wasn't for Raiders of the Lost Ark, which put him on the map. Sure, he was in Star Wars before that, but this gave him the leading role. This gave him acting potential. This gave him a star name. Harrison Ford, this is the best Harrison Ford movie because he shows off all he can be in this movie. He's not cheesy. The movie around him might be cheesy. Some of the effects might be cheesy. The villains might be cheesy. His performance as this suave, adventuresome person with a dream of just finding that ark, which he does. That is a hope, and that is something that lives up today, and that is a theme that lives up today. His performance works out wonderfully in that film. And with that argument of, if it's better, that means it should be known as well too. If Witness is so great, it would be known. Raiders of the Lost Ark is known because it is so great. It is so fun. I'm not trying to knock Witness as not being a great film. I'm sure it is, but there's a reason that Raiders is such a pop culture and important movie in this day of age. If people don't see Raiders of the Lost Ark, you're like, you haven't seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? It's a sin. That is a classic film. Where Witness, it is a movie that was nominated for a couple Oscars. And that's honestly it. It's forgotten.
Okay, great argument by both. I was honestly going back and forth between the whole match. Isaac said a point where better or more popular doesn't necessarily mean better. And that really swayed me towards his side. However, Linus did say that really kind of changed this argument up, or my decision up. If Witness was so great, it would be more remembered and more popular than Raiders. So because of that, I will give the point to Linus.
All right. Well fought. I've never seen Witness, so I didn't really know what to do.
Yeah, honestly, that one was a good one. Great argument by both. All right. So your third question is, what is the best Disney animated sidekick? All right. So we're going to start with Linus.
You ain't never have a friend like the genie. The genie is the best Disney sidekick for many reasons. The first one I'm going to go with is he's probably the most powerful Disney sidekick, and he is the most friendly. You never see any ounce of the genie when he's with Aladdin that is like untrustworthy to Aladdin. He is always there for Aladdin. He is you've never had a friend like him. And sure, the genie wants Aladdin to free him, and he might be kind of like nudging him along that way, but the genie doesn't want to use his own intentions to take away from Aladdin. And that is what is so great about the genie. The genie does all these feats. He does all these magical musical numbers to prove how special he is. He does all these important things. And I think it is the best performance we've ever seen in a Disney sidekick. Robin Williams' voice is insane what he did with that role and what he did with that performance. You can see that Robin Williams is the genie, and personally, I love Robin Williams. This role, I grew up on this role. I love the genie. He is this powerful person, and he is just amazing.
Okay, a solid choice. And Isaac?
Okay, well, while the genie is maybe my favorite, he is certainly not the best Disney animated sidekick. In my opinion, and I think in general, the best Disney animated sidekick is Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio.
Ooh.
He's one of the original ones, one of the old school ones. And what's important about Jiminy Cricket and it being a sidekick in general is what his character is to the main character. And I'll get into that in the main argument.
Okay, once again, 5 minutes to argue, and you guys can start whenever you want.
I'm going to give it to you that Jiminy Cricket is more of a mentor to Pinocchio, and he helps him out. More than a sidekick, in my opinion, is someone that more helps out the protagonist, where Jiminy Cricket, I find, he's kind of a mentor. He's kind of like an advice giver more so than an actual sidekick. He is a sidekick, definitely. I'm not going to take that away from you. But when I'm considering sidekick, I'm going to be more partial to the genie in that aspect.
The problem with the genie, and this is why I didn't choose the genie. I thought of him, and I could not choose him because the only reason he's a sidekick is because he's required to be, because of the rules of the lamp. Technically, the genie is Aladdin's slave. I'm just going to say it. He is the slave. He is a slave to the laws of the lamp, and the lamp says, "You rub my lamp, I serve you 3 wishes." That's it, and he does his job. He's a slave to Aladdin. He's not a sidekick. He doesn't do it because he likes Aladdin. He does it because he has to do it. Whereas Jiminy Cricket genuinely loves Pinocchio. He goes to the bottom of the sea for Pinocchio. He says, "I may be live bait down there, but I'm with you." That sums up the character of Jiminy Cricket. He is willing to do anything for his friend.
So the genie got freed, and all of a sudden he just went away from Aladdin?
Yes.
Because, no. Have you seen the sequels? I'm allowed to argue the sequels because he is back in those sequels. Not saying that they're great movies, but he's consistently with Aladdin in those sequels. He doesn't just march away and leave. They have a bond. It's not sure that's what happens, but that's the circumstance of the movie. That's a plot device that they met. I'm sure Genie had many other relationships where once the 3 wishes were gone, he just snapped, went back in the bottle. This was different. Aladdin cared about the genie. They were friends. Genie came back and helped Aladdin. So he didn't just go away. He was a slave in the aspect of the 3 wishes. You have to do this. But after the 3 wishes were gone and he was freed, it's not like the genie disappeared. He came back.
I guess technically, if we're counting the sequels, he did come back. But maybe that was because he felt guilted because Aladdin freed him. I don't know.
Guilted? They were friends. You can see it many times in the movie that the genie generally cares about Aladdin. He's someone that's doing a job that he's slaved for, but you can see that he cares about granting these wishes. He doesn't like being imprisoned, yes, but he cares about Aladdin. He cares about what happens to him. He warns him. He helps him. He sings songs to help him. He goes above and beyond. A genie, if he was just doing his wishes, he could have said, "Okay, you're a prince." But instead, he does the whole Prince Ali, Fabulous He song. He wouldn't just do that if he didn't like Aladdin.
Oh, okay. I guess
The song was not a part of the song was not a part of the wish. He did that out of friendship and as a sidekick to help him out.
And then he betrays Aladdin when the genie takes his lamp because he's a slave to the lamp. He technically has to try to kill Aladdin. Jiminy Cricket is literally Pinocchio's conscience. He is appointed, and he's here. Here's what the Blue Fairy declares him: Lord High Keeper of the knowledge of right and wrong, counselor in moments of temptation, and guide along the straight and narrow path. Jiminy Cricket is like the epitome of goodness. He has a great song, and he helps Pinocchio out through his whole journey. He argues to the Blue Fairy. The Blue Fairy is about to give up on Pinocchio, and he argues to give him another chance. He's always in Pinocchio's corner, and he always tells him the truth too. He rescues him from Pleasure Island, and he's there not out of compulsion but out of love.
But you can see sometimes that Pinocchio doesn't always listen to Jiminy Cricket. That is also something where it's like, does Aladdin always listen to the genie? Not exactly, but in the end, it works out. And I guess you can make the same point in Pinocchio that Jiminy Cricket comes back and saves him. But you can't make the point that the genie just disappears. He is forced with that lamp. It is not his choice. Aladdin saves him. I don't really see the relationship of Pinocchio back to Jiminy Cricket as much of an even relationship as I see the genie and Aladdin. A sidekick is someone that helps the person out, but I think there needs to be a little more of a bond between them. Yes, Jiminy Cricket has his bonds to Pinocchio, but what exactly is Pinocchio's bond other than being saved by Jiminy Cricket to Jiminy Cricket?
All right. That's it. So closing statements, starting with Linus.
All right. Like I said, the genie is a character that goes above and beyond to any extent we have ever seen in any Disney film. Aladdin wishes to be a prince. Okay, you're a prince. No, the genie does a whole fabulous dance, a whole song number just to prove how much he cares and wants Aladdin to succeed. He does all this for him. The genie saves his life in points. The genie is all-powerful. The genie comes back for Aladdin. He doesn't abandon him. He is forced to one thing, yes, but the genie is all good. Yes, Jiminy Cricket, you can argue, is all good as well, but I see more of a relationship with Aladdin and the genie caring about each other than I see with Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket caring about each other, and that is why I think the genie is more of a better sidekick to Aladdin.
All right, and Isaac.
Okay. The genie is a sidekick. I'm not going to take that away from you. But I would kind of argue he's even a better main character than Aladdin in some ways. Those movies could have been about him and it wouldn't change much. Aladdin's more his sidekick than he is. He overtakes that movie. And that's the power of Robin Williams. And it's a great performance and everything. But it's Robin Williams being Robin Williams and he overtakes the movie. A sidekick is supposed to be a sidekick, a small part that helps the hero on his journey. Not takes anything away from the hero, but helps him. And that's what Jiminy Cricket does in Pinocchio. It adds that little part of the movie and to the character to help him on his journey without overtaking it, without becoming more important than the main character. The genie's story is more important and interesting than Aladdin's. And he's also still a slave and he does betray Aladdin. Just to throw that out there again.
Okay. Good argument by both again. Personally, I would have chose Timon from The Lion King, but that's just me. Anyway, I really liked what Isaac said with how the genie was more of a slave than a sidekick. But Linus came back and said, well, he does come back in the sequels. When, Isaac said, oh, he betrayed him, Linus said he didn't want to, but he pretty much had to. But what really made me decide on the decision I'm going with was Isaac said that, a sidekick is, a lesser part, not as important as, the main guy, and that the genie kind of overtakes the movie, and it kind of steals the spotlight from Aladdin. So because of that, I will give the point to Isaac.
Okay.
Good fight. You blindsided me with the sequels. I completely forgot about the sequels.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was Linus's point up until you said, he does overtake the movie, which I really like. Anyway,
here we go.
The final question is one that I'm really, kind of looking forward to for no reasons I'll probably explain later. What is the best Tyler Perry movie? And we will start with Isaac.
I've been looking forward to this character or this question for a long time. As soon as I heard it, I was like, yeah, I got the perfect answer for it. The best Tyler Perry movie is Tyler Perry's Medea's Big Happy Family.
Okay, and Linus?
So the best Tyler Perry movie, in my opinion, doesn't have to be a movie he's starring in, but the best movie that features him. And the best movie that features Tyler Perry, I don't think is arguable, and that is Gone Girl.
All right, you guys got another 5 minutes, so start whenever you want. Okay,
Gone Girl. It is an okay movie. It's not a true Tyler Perry movie. It's allowed. That's fine. But in actuality, he's billed lower than Neil Patrick Harris is. Is it a Neil Patrick Harris movie? The first on-screen words that we see in the movie is a David Fincher film. So I don't think it's necessarily a Tyler Perry movie, but whatever. This is literally Tyler Perry's Medea's Big Happy Family. He wrote, directed, starred, and produced in it. And it's a great movie.
I personally think the Medea movies are more of a gimmick than they are movies. You're saying, oh, Tyler Perry's in drag. When I watched Gone Girl and I saw the performance he gives, I knew the Medea guy, the guy who's doing those silly Medea jokes, the big fat African-American woman, playing on those stereotypes, doing those silly things, making 70 Medea movies a year. When I saw he was in Gone Girl, I'm like, Tyler Perry is in that role? I'm not going to say his performance in Gone Girl is one of the greatest performances I have ever seen, because it's not. He is serviceable in that movie. He is good, a lot better than expectations, I would say. Gone Girl, on the other hand, is a phenomenal movie with amazing twists and turns. I'm not going to spoil the movie here because that's not my place to do so, but the first part of the movie leads you one way, and then it just turns like that, and that is phenomenal storytelling. The cinematography in Gone Girl is phenomenal. The directing, the score. How great is the score in Medea's Big Happy Family?
I will go there. The score is great in Medea's Big Happy Family. There was specifically 2 moments where I actually had to say, I've got to look up this song. It was the church scene, and it was the opening number about a big happy family. Okay, here's the thing. Well directed, yes. Cinematography, yes. Music, yes. Acting, not so much. Okay. As for spoiling it, I will say it right now. I've got to spoil this to talk about this. The plot twists are completely contrived. They are contrived. It's a well-directed soap opera, but that's all it is. Medea's Big Happy Family it's funny, and the character of Medea is funny, and it may be what did you say it was? A
gimmick.
Gimmick, right. But it's a classic character at this point. It's on the level of Ernest or any of those other classic characters. Why I chose Big Happy Family is that in this movie, there's a story around Medea that is bigger than the character. There's true character development. It portrays and examines a real dysfunctional family. There are moments of this movie that I felt like I was watching my family. There's true character development and examination of motivations. It's an inspiring movie. There's nothing inspiring in Gone Girl.
Talk about relationships. What Gone Girl does with relationships, it conveys a marriage in a way that we've never seen before cinematically. We've seen dysfunctional families so many times. I look at Medea and I'm like, oh, it's the Clumps again or something like that. Medea is not important. Medea is not a film that people considered one of their favorite films of that year. Medea is not a film that featured an actress that was a shoo-in for Best Actress if it wasn't for Julianne Moore's role in Still Alice. Rosamund Pike was phenomenal in that movie. You cannot argue that. There was no performance. The leading woman in Gone Girl is far superior than Tyler Perry in Medea. And Tyler Perry does a very good role in Gone Girl. He is great in Gone Girl. And the Medea movies, I can't get through them. It's not my type of humor. If that's your type of humor, great. The people enjoy those movies, good for them. I personally cannot get through those movies. I can watch Gone Girl multiple times. You might not like the twist. The twists work for me. I'm a young mind, so seeing those twists, seeing those cinematically, what David Fincher does with that film, I like the performances. When you can make Tyler Perry a very good, serviceable performance like that, I think that is props to that movie. That movie is phenomenal. It was many people's favorite films of that year. I don't see people besides those people that maybe go to the movie once saying that they absolutely loved Medea's Big Happy Family.
Okay, we're back to the Harrison Ford thing again. Just because something is more popular doesn't necessarily mean it's good or not. As for a servable actor, Tyler Perry already proved that in the Medea movies. As for other actors in that movie, Ben Affleck is wooden. I can't argue about Rosamund Pike. She's brilliant in that movie. But Ben Affleck is wooden. There is terrible dialogue in Gone Girl as well, especially some of the conversations between him and his sister.
It's better than the dialogue in Medea's Big Happy Family.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, time's up. So, closing argument, starting with Isaac.
Okay. As for the contrived plot twist, have you ever heard of Divorce? Yeah, it portrayed a marriage that we've never seen before. That's right, because there's two people that hate each other. One person who's willing to frame the other for murder, the other guy's cheating on her, and they don't divorce. She comes up with this ridiculous plan to frame him for murder. Why? We never know why. Because she's bored. There's no character motivations. The character development is awful. She's a manipulative bitch at the beginning and at the end. He is a dumb idiot, cheating, horrible person at the beginning. Same at the end. There's no development. There's nothing in that movie that is interesting beyond a twist that is so contrived it's ridiculous. It's a well-directed soap opera. That's all it is. What's in Medea's Big Happy Family is a true examination of a real family with real problems, struggling marriages, and it gets into the motivations too. The one woman who is a terrible person through the whole movie, and you don't know why. At the end, it's revealed she was raped by her uncle at 13, and everything falls into place when you learn that. People write Medea movies off as some comic gimmick, and it's not. This movie is deeper and more interesting than what's in Gone Girl. Gone Girl's a soap opera.
All right, and Linus.
The reason I think Gone Girl is a better film than Medea's Big Happy Family is just the aspect of the work that goes into the film. Gone Girl is based off a book, a phenomenal book that was written, and you might not like the twists and turns, but they work for me. And it's better than any of the jokes that you would hear in Medea's Big Happy Family. It's better than any of the plot you hear in Medea's Big Happy Family. I honestly think Medea's Big Happy Family is a gimmick. People like that gimmick. That gimmick is popular, but it's like the Transformers to me. They just keep making them, and it's just the same thing over and over again. And maybe Medea's Big Happy Family is the better of them, sure, but Tyler Perry actually gives a good performance in Gone Girl. He plays this lawyer, and he's believable. I believe him as this lawyer. I don't believe him as Medea. Medea is just this gimmick thing that maybe is funny in the shorts that it started with, but I don't see it huge franchise or this comedian legend that you see it as. It's a guy in drag. I've seen drag done way better in multiple other films. These relationships that you see in Gone Girl, I don't know if it's been better. The portrayal of the wife by Rosamund Pike, we've never seen a performance like that. You say her reasonings of why she does all that stuff, it's unclear. That's part of the mystery of the film. The film is a mystery. She is a mystery. The characters are a mystery. Sure, Ben Affleck's performance might be partially wooden, but I guarantee it's better than anyone in Medea's Big Happy Family. I just think the cinematic aspects and the shots, I can specifically point out a shot when Ben Affleck walks out of the bar with Andy, who's his young college like lover, and you see the snowfall, and Rosamund Pike watches him. That is such a cinematically well shot thing that honestly could be a frame. Who honestly shot Medea's Big Happy Family? Was it just like the camera left on? I don't want to trash it as being some horrible film, because the aspects you brought up makes it have some drama elements to it, sure. But I doubt it does any of the drama better than Gone Girl, which is one of the best dramas we've seen this decade.
Okay, both very, very good arguments. Linus said one thing in the very beginning in his opening statement, that he might not be in a lot, but is, in fact, a better movie. But Isaac said, well, he's not in it for that much. Is it really a Tyler Perry movie? And what?
He's in it.
Yeah, no, and because of that, he did mention Neil Patrick Harris is billed above him. I did check; he is billed above him in the movie, and they don't call it a Neil Patrick Harris movie. And because he did mention,
I said he's in the movie. That's what it counts.
Oh,
he's in the. It counts. They accepted it.
I'm giving it. Well, I'm giving it. I like Isaac's argument better. I just like that knock, because
What knock?
Well, that Medea. Medea is more of a Tyler Perry movie than what Gone Girl is.
Yeah, but we're not arguing what movie he has more screen time. We're asking what's the best movie he's in.
I'm giving the point to Isaac because of that. I'm sorry.
I don't agree with that one.
Wow, a technicality. Wow.
I don't know.
Sorry about that.
Ooh.
All right.
I mean, you guys accepted it, so.
All right. So we're getting into the speed round. You guys got 20 seconds for your beginning parts, and then 10 seconds as a rebuttal. It is 3-1. If Isaac gets this, he wins. And the first speed round question is which movie is better? Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade or Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back?
Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back.
All right, I heard Linus say Empire Strikes Back. So, Isaac, you're obviously going to have to go with The Last Crusade. Let me just get the timer ready. And Linus, you can start whenever you're ready.
The Empire Strikes Back is a classic film. People compare other films to being The Empire Strikes Back for what it does to a franchise. It takes a darker turn. It adds more complexity to the characters. The Last Crusade is a good film, but I don't think it holds up together. The relationships are good. The story of the film doesn't work as well. Empire has a great story. The characters split off, and it works phenomenally. The story just works well. The drama, the performances, in my opinion, are way better than the performances in Raiders of the Lost Ark, in The Last Crusade.
All right, I'm going to give Isaac, 25 more seconds because Linus went over a little bit. So, all right, and start whenever you're ready, Isaac.
People compare things to the Return of the Jedi because not because it's good, but because of Ewoks. Because the third part of a trilogy always stumbles. That's what they compare it to. The sexist costume doesn't help either. Last Crusade is a brilliant movie with brilliant performances and a much more complex plot, interesting plot, better ending. It's a fun action movie, adventure movie. Return of the Jedi stumbles.
All right, you guys got 10 seconds to rebuttal each. So, Linus, start whenever you're ready.
The only good thing about The Last Crusade is Indiana Jones's father. Empire Strikes Back has the best twist we've ever seen in film, and it shows great relationships, great complexity. Han Solo and Leia are a phenomenal relationship. The relationships are better.
Time. All right, and
I thought the question was Return of the Jedi. Or
no, it's Empire.
It is Empire.
No way.
All right, whenever you're ready, Isaac.
Yeah, I can't do that. I thought the question was Return of the Jedi. I misheard that. I've just given it to him.
I did like Isaac, I did like where Linus was going better anyway, because of the only good part was his father. So Linus gets a point. Staying alive.
A point? I had a point.
No, getting another point. Staying alive. I know it's 3-2. I know. All right. Your second speed round question. What is the best Tom Cruise movie?
Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation.
Oh, all right.
Valkyrie.
All right. And Linus, start whenever you're ready. 20 seconds again as well.
Rogue Nation did something a lot of films don't do. Tom Cruise was a star, but this put him on another level. Yes, Mission Impossible films get better and better. This one was the best. You see his character is more grown. You see the action is better. You see the stunts are better. This is an all-around fun film. Tom Cruise movies are fun and actiony. This is the best. You see him hang onto a plane. The directing is phenomenal. The side characters are phenomenal. The win works.
All right. And Isaac, whenever you're ready.
Best Tom Cruise movie is Valkyrie. It's a true story about the attempted assassination of Adolf Hitler. It's a sad movie. It's not fun like Rogue Nation, but it is a more important movie, a better movie. Rogue Nation, it's a better performance as well. Rogue Nation is the same thing as every other Mission Impossible. Something happens with the company, it has to dissolve, and they go on the run. Same thing, different action set pieces. That's all.
All right. Actually, stop just on time. So, Linus, 10 seconds whenever you're ready.
But Mission Impossible keeps getting better, and the last one was the best of all of them. It has the same plot, but the last one was better. Anyone could play the role Tom Cruise played in Valkyrie. No one could play his role in a Mission Impossible like he did.
All right. And Isaac, whenever you're ready.
Literally, every action star today plays Tom Cruise's character in the Mission Impossible series. He's a cardboard cutout at this point. Valkyrie is a distinct performance, an important movie. What?
All right. All right. Both great arguments. I like what Linus brought up, where it keeps on. It's the best one of a franchise, and that Tom Cruise could be easily replaced in Valkyrie. I like that knock, so I'm giving the point to Linus again. To go into the final speed round question, where this one decides the match. So this one, you're going to get 30 seconds and 20 seconds for the rebuttal. And the speed round question is, should the Universal's Monsters Dark Universe continue?
Yes.
All right. So Linus going with yes. So Isaac has to go with no. Linus, whenever you're ready, you got 30 seconds this time.
Look what the DCEU did. Everyone was like, that should just die. They got Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman worked. People have faith in that franchise. The Mummy was not good, but there is faith. The future is endless possibilities. You don't know what they're going to do. They could end it now, and then it's over, but they could have great films we would never see if they just ended. The future is ahead of us. Great films can happen. No one expected Wonder Woman, and it saved the DCEU. A film can do that for the Monsters universe.
All right. Isaac, whenever you're ready.
The DCEU is a bad comparison because there were good things in the DCEU before that happened. The problem with the Mummy is that there was nothing good in it to bounce off of. It needs to completely be destroyed. It bastardized the classics, it ignored the horror roots, and went with some stupid action comedy route. That's not what we want in our monster movies. I want an R-rated reboot with real monster movies, not some fun, stupid action movie.
All right. Linus, you got 20 seconds whenever you're ready.
From what I heard of The Bride of Frankenstein, they're taking a different take with it. They're going more classical with that film, but also giving it a modern edge. And these are people's careers they're talking about that put effort into this work. If they take the franchise away, they could get fired. I don't want to see people get fired. The future, anything could happen. Films can be great. Films can suck. I want to see what happens. I don't want any movie to get canceled because that ruins the industry unless movies come out, and we're already having problems with the box office.
All right. I'll give Isaac a couple more seconds because Linus went over a little bit more. So, Isaac, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, we do need less movies to come out that are like this. The reason we have problems with the box office is because of terrible cardboard copies of action movies. The Mummy was terrible. Mythology needs to be honored, especially in the Monsters universe, and they didn't honor it. They spat on it. I don't care about people's jobs. We're talking about movies here. Give them another job. They're in a good part. This needs to be canceled stat.
Okay, a very good argument. I really enjoyed this one. Linus, I really like what you said, comparing it to the DCEU, saying, that one didn't start off, necessarily on the right foot, but, we ended up getting Wonder Woman out of it. But Isaac, I think, came back with a very good rebuttal, saying that there were good qualities in, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, those, not so good DCEU movies that, gave people, there were good qualities in it rather than, this one, just there weren't any good qualities. And you didn't really bring up, if you had brought up that there were, there was something good about this, that it was promising, like the DCEU, you would have gotten the point. But because of that, I'm giving the point and the win to Isaac.
Wow. Good match.
That was...
Good match.
All right. Good job.
All right. All right. That's it. Isaac, how do you feel?
I feel like all in all it was a good match. I feel bad for Linus. His final argument initially for Gone Girl probably would have gotten him that point. I think he probably deserved that point. On the flip side, the Mission Impossible, Speed Round, whatever, I think it all evened out. Okay, I'm happy with this result. Great job to Linus. You took me to the edge. I was really worried there for a minute. It'd be an honor to face you again. You're a good opponent.
All right. Where can people find you, Isaac?
You can find me on Twitter at Filmer2013 or on YouTube. Just search the Film Freak Show.
All right, Linus. How you feeling?
This is so close. I mean, I don't really like the way the Tyler Perry question was worded, but you're the judge. Whatever. I mean, I'm coming back. This was just a minor fall. I'm coming back.
All right.
Isaac's a great competitor. If I'm gonna lose to anyone, he's a good person to do it too. So.
No, a lot of the arguments were back and forth, especially that last one, the last speed round. That one was really solid. But where can people find you, Linus?
You can find me. I'm on There Will Be Trivia this season. You can if you go on the movie Trivia Schmodown Facebook page, I'm an admin there. I'm pretty active there. So, yep, that's where I am. All
right. And, obviously subscribe to the channel because all the matches are here. You could personally find me on Twitter and Instagram at Big Kim Hayes, and on my personal YouTube channel, at youtube.com/Andrew Hayes. You could also find me over in There Will Be Trivia. I host there a lot. And, until next time, guys, I don't really know how to end this, but catch you guys later.